Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host, Gungo Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Wednesday for another amazing episode. Before I get on to today's movie review, last week's movie, I was so harsh on Talia. I mean, I've been thinking about the movie, and I'm like, yeah, it was terrible. That one I'm not going to change my mind about, because it was a really terrible movie. But the themes of it, what they were trying to teach us, it was like giving hope to people. And it was also about greed, like a lot of greed, because everything that Babu was doing was because of greed. He wanted money, and every time he got money, the way he split it between himself and Mzee Santi and Chiriku, the way he was splitting it was like he will get 50%, and then the other 50% is what will be split amongst Chiriku and Mzee. And when he had the security person, he did that as well. It was just so much greed. And about hope, it's when he was asking the mermaid for the 3 wishes or 5 wishes. He was hopeful that this mermaid was going to do something good for him. But then he let greed take over, and unfortunately, that cost him everything that he had. So it's not like I didn't understand it completely. I know I remember saying I did not understand a single thing. I did not understand a single thing. I repeated that so many times during the review, and I get it. But then it's just that it was so upsetting, the entire movie, that is all that was in my head. Until, later on, when I was a little bit calmer and I already recorded it and everything, that's when I was like, actually, it was a bad one, but yeah, it taught me that, at least it was about that. So yeah, if you watched last week's episode, hope that's what you got, even if you didn't comment and tell me what you thought about it. But if you did not watch it, go back and listen and just understand that, yeah, I've understood what it was trying to say. It's just that it was terrible. It was a terrible movie. But the core message of it, I got it. I understood it. Even if it took me a while. Actually, even while I was watching it, I think I remembered and I knew what they were trying to say. But it's just that everything else around it was just bad. So it just upset me. And then today's movie, as well, as I was watching it, I don't know what's happening with me nowadays. I think I'm losing touch with a lot of me, and I do not understand. Anyway, I'll get into it and maybe I'll talk about it and you'll understand more. But I don't know. It's just hard, but I'm going to try my level best to do a good review at least. And I hope it won't be too long, but I'll try. So make sure if you've started and have listened up to this moment, keep listening, please. Actually, today has been a sad day as well. I was online for a bit during the day. I'm recording this on the 20th of March, and I just saw online that Chuck Norris just passed on. Like, I feel like all our childhood is just being erased one after the other. The actors are dying because now they are in their 70s, late 70s, 80s, and it's just that, like, it's coming, but then it still hurts when it actually happens. Because when you are young and you're watching these people on TV, you think that they're going to live forever. Actually, when you're young, you don't even see them as human beings for real. You just know that they live in your TV. And then when you're grown up and you realize, oh, they're actually human beings who have been behind those amazing characters that you loved, it hits kind of different when you learn that they're dead. So yeah, may he rest in peace, and may his family and friends somehow find comfort during this tough time. So yeah, on today's episode, I'm going to be giving a review of a South African movie called Six in the City. Six in the City is a 2023 South African comedy written by Sasa Nkabeni and directed by Star Ngoki Mfahlele. If that's not how the name is said, which I'm sure it's not how it's said, please forgive me. The cast members include Anton David, he plays Ryan, Capo, he plays Brian. Amand Okamp, hope that's how you say that name, plays Gigi. Pal Modiadi, she plays Lesedi. Gaisang Noge plays Uliswa. Nia Brown plays Ntabi. Joy Yusuf plays Steve. Kagiso Modupe plays Paul. Zolani Mayekiso plays Kagiso. Seputla Sebogodi plays Lofuno. Nomsa Butelezi plays Zoleka aka Zozo, amongst other cast members. Now, if you love spoilers like me, I'd urge you to continue with this. But if you do not like spoilers, please leave, go on Netflix, watch the movie Six in the City, and then come back here and tell me if you agree with me or not, because this is official spoiler alert. When I say that this movie upset me, I feel like it's going to be an understatement. And that's why I said earlier, I don't know what's happening with me. It's as if I'm getting upset with watching movies. I don't know. I've always preferred series to movies because movies end so quickly. But, series, especially the ones from Kitambo, like in a Supernatural that has, is it 15 or 16 seasons? And it's like 24 episodes. But Grey's Anatomy, then episode, I don't know, 20 something with 24 episodes, like those ones. You remember how it used to be? I love them because even when they end, there's another season coming and it's going to be good and it's going to be amazing. But then movies just end so quickly. So with this one, I don't know what happened. But yeah, let me just tell you about the movie and then I don't know. I'll just say my thoughts on it. So the movie follows these six friends. That's why it's called Six in the City. That is Ryan, Brian, Gigi, Steve, Paul, and Kagiso. These guys, we start the movie with them they were at Paul and Lesedi's engagement party. And I think the first scene is Paul with Lesedi. They were kissing by the pool, I think. And then Brian comes over because he wanted to talk to Paul. And he was staring at them while they were kissing. Like that guy, I hated him, by the way. So he was staring at them while they were kissing. And so Lesedi exchanges some words with him and kisses Paul again. And then she leaves and leaves them to talk. So while they're talking, you realize that Brian is not happy about the engagement between Paul and Lesedi, and that's because he believes that Lesedi is a terrible woman, which it was proved right, but at that time Paul was defending his lady and stuff. So later on, after the party, after people have said their speeches and everything, I don't know where Paul was coming from. I think from work or something. He was coming back home. He had a beautiful home, like a beautiful mansion. He comes back home and he finds everything has been taken from his home. Like there's no chair, there's no sufuria, there's no spoon, there's nothing in that house. So his security person at his home is Zozo. So he goes to find her, but Zozo had picked up a dildo that was a gift from Brian to Lesedi during their engagement party. So he had taken it. Actually, was it an engagement party or was it a birthday party? Because Lesedi is the one who was opening the presents. Forgive me about that. It was either the engagement party or it was her birthday party, but she was the one who was opening the presents. And so that's why I'm confused. I don't remember, honestly. I watched this movie on Tuesday or on Wednesday, and today's Friday. I think I watched it on Tuesday. So I really don't remember what the party was about. But Lesedi's the one who was opening the presents, and Brian had given her a dildo. So they threw it away, I think, or something happened, and it ended up by the pool. And Zozo, while she was making her rounds, she found it and went to her room. And she locked herself there enjoying the vibrator. So when Paul runs to her little place where she lives, he's knocking and she comes to the door. That thing is still vibrating. Like she would carry it with her. And this is a big woman. And I don't know where she will place it, but she will just be feeling the vibrations all the time. I don't know, that thing was it battery powered or it just the charging was so good? I don't know. But anyway. So she had been busy with the vibrator, but when Lesedi was leaving with the things, she had asked about it, and Lesedi had told her that they are moving or they are exchanging them for new ones or something like that. And so Zozo had actually allowed them to pack them in a canter, and they left with everything that belonged to Paul. So Paul spins out and he's in a fog and he's crying by the pool, by the jacuzzi. Man, like, yo, being rich is good, because at least when something bad happens to you, you can cry in your jacuzzi, you can cry by your poolside, you can cry in your big empty mansion, and you're still in those places, like you still have those things. But yeah, so he's crying and crying and crying, and Zozo is even coming to tell him that, neighbors are complaining that you've been crying all the time. He hadn't really told his friends until Brian, because Brian was an actor, but an unemployed actor. So he didn't have a home, he didn't have anything to his name. So he would move from each and every one of these friends. So there are 6 boys, as I said. And so Brian would couch surf in each and every one of these guys' home. So today he'll be sleeping at Ryan's, then the next day he'll be at Gigi's, and then he'll be at Steve's, and then he'll be at Paul's and Kagiso's. Although Paul used to live in Cape Town, and I think the rest of them were in Johannesburg. And so that, at least the ones that he was with in the same city, he will be couch surfing from one to the other. And so I think he had called Paul, and Paul was, the way he was sounding was off, and he was like he was sick. So he goes to Gigi's place, that is Brian, and he mentions it to Gigi. Gigi is a guy, by the way. And so Gigi is like, okay, he calls Paul, and as they are talking, Paul opens up and he goes like, yeah, Lesedi left me and she went with everything. Brian is on the side and he's like, yeah, I told him, the way he's mouthing everything that he had told Paul, he had warned Paul about Lesedi. And so Gigi comes up with a plan that they all go to Cape Town to visit Paul, to surprise him so that they can lift his spirits. And so these boys set up on a journey to the city. And so there were so many cars in that compound. I don't know, somebody was renting out those cars or something, but then they took this like old school van. I don't know, I'm sure it's a classic, but I do not like it. I did not like it, but it's a classic, I'm sure. There's a time people used to love it, and there are people who I'm sure love it. It's something that you'll see at Concours d'Elegance or something like that. So they start the journey, and it's just full of a lot of disasters. First, all of them packed, the 5 of them, they're packed in this tiny car, and they start smoking. I think they smoked bang in that car. And then they were stopped by police at some point. They stopped at this place to eat something. There was this guy who just started having an issue with them and wanted to beat them, so they had to run away from that place. And Brian was outside kissing one of the girls from that place. And then when they ran into their van and started driving away, where I don't know how many meters or kilometers they had gone, when they realized that girl had gotten into the car with Brian. And so all of them, they were shocked. They had to stop, and then she had to alight. They got her an Uber to take her back from where she had come from. Like, a lot of things happened on that journey, but eventually they arrived in Cape Town. Once they get there, they go and surprise him at his house. He was alone, of course, crying again about Lesedi. But then they try to cheer him up. They go out clubbing that night. And Kagiso is another one of the boys whom his story from the beginning. So I'm just saying what the boys were doing. But Kagiso's story was, Kagiso was in a long-time relationship with Tabi. They had been on and off for years, but it had been a long, long time. So at the beginning of the movie, when we first meet them, she had woken up, done something, and then come back to the bedroom and wanted to lie down with him just to enjoy the morning. And he was like, are you sure about that, or something like that? Like, aren't you leaving soon? I was like, you're kicking her out? I mean, so she goes, okay, fine, I'm going to take my things and go. Like, you have a problem with me being here and everything. So while she leaves, he goes to the bathroom and takes her shower gel that she had left in his shower. These people have been in a long-term relationship. Like, they have been together for years. So her leaving her shower gel in his bathroom, I don't see the problem with that. But then he comes back with it and it goes like, are you leaving this here? She goes like, it's a shower gel. I have another one at my place. There's no problem with this one being here. And he goes like, no, 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 no. So if you do not need it, so can I just throw it out? I'm like, the hell? I hated this guy, him and Brian. Brian was disgusting. Kagiso was just a terrible human being, a pathetic man. And so she yells at him and she leaves. Before they go for this trip, he calls her again and she comes and they do their hanky panky. And once they're done, he goes like, we are going to Cape Town. So she's happy because she thinks that she's included. And he goes like, no, 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 not you and me. I mean us as in the boys and I. Then why did you call me here? Because she was so like, really? You just called me to use me and then what? Because they didn't even talk about what he had done before, about the shower gel and the way he kicked her out. And so, one, I was disappointed that she just came back after that. And so they have another disagreement and I think they break up or something. So the boys leave and they go. So when they're in Cape Town, they go to this party. Kagiso leaves the club with another woman. And so the boys, they have their fun. And when they go back to the house, which is empty, they'd actually ordered a couch. And so they were sleeping on a mattress on the floor. They wake up and they are thinking, okay, where so and so, where so and so. Brian was not there. He had slept by the flower bed, or was it by the pool or by the something? He had slept outside. And this guy was disgusting. But anyway, they go and find him and they talk to him. And then they are like, okay, Brian is here, but where's Kagiso? So they take showers and they get changed and they go back to the club, which was an idea from one of them. And they go and ask, hey, we were here last night. One of our friends is missing. And they're like, who? Kagiso. The lady goes and calls the manager. The manager comes and goes like, I'm so sorry, boys. Like, there's nothing that could have been done. It happened so quickly or something like that. Apparently, there was a death at the parking and they think that it's him. So this person that died, his head had been chopped off, and Brian makes a comedy about it because, yeah, it's funny to him, or they try to make it funny. I did not laugh. He was disgusting to me. I just didn't. And so they think that that's him, but it wasn't. And so they go back to Paul's home and they find the couch has been brought and Kagiso is sleeping on it. So he had to sign for it when it was delivered. As all of them, they are like, oh, Kagiso, like we thought that you were dead, blah, blah, blah. They talk about it and they apologize. Gigi was the clear-headed one in this group most of the time because he would put the boys in their place. He would talk to them, sensibly because he's the only one who was married. He was gay and married to Lufuno, but he was the maturest of them all. And he always tried to put them together, to bring them together and bring them to their senses most of the time. They talk through a couple of things. They ask him about Ntabi. He does not want to talk about that. They decide to have another party at the house. And so they invite people and people start coming to the house and they start partying. The lady that Kagiso had gone with the previous night comes again. And while Kagiso was missing, they had called Ntabi to ask her if she had seen him or talked to him, but she had said no. So instead of just leaving it alone, she came to Cape Town to join the boys. She comes to the house. Kagiso is upstairs with the other lady and they are, kissing and are about to do things. He runs down the stairs, actually at the top of the stairs, and yells at the party if there's someone who has a condom. He doesn't finish the word actually because he sees Ntabi. She's there. And so he comes down, talks to, pulls her aside and gives a sign to Brian to go and get the other girl or lock her in the room so that she doesn't meet Ntabi or something. He goes with her outside and she had packed a whole suitcase to come and talk to, to look for him. It was just, she upset me so much. But anyway, so he asks her what she's doing there. Like, why did she follow him? Because he told her that he was going to go to Cape Town with his friends. So why is she there? She tries to explain that your friends called me telling me that you are missing. And so I came just to find you. He was not happy about that. They have an argument and she leaves. She goes like, okay, fine, I'm leaving. And while she's waiting for the taxi outside the house, the other lady comes and complains to her that how men, are very difficult and she can't understand them because of this guy that she was with. And they were about to do the hanky panky. And then he kept calling her Peach because Peach was the nickname he had for Ntabi. And so she was just very, very upset about the entire ordeal. And now, after locking her in a room, he just came and asked her to leave while she was all naked and everything waiting for him. So Ntabi, of course, puts two and two together and she realizes that it's Kagiso that the lady is talking about. And so while she's still waiting, the other lady's taxi comes before Ntabi's, which was weird because Ntabi was there before. She was headed back to the airport or something. And then Kagiso finds her there to apologize. He apologizes to her and she forgives him after he gave a very stupid apology saying how, they did nothing. Him and that girl did nothing because he kept thinking about her and how he realized that she's the love of his life and all of that stupid speech that he was giving. I was so upset during that entire time. And her forgiving him and actually taking him back with that weak ass apology that he gave. Hey, yo. But then they go back to the house. The house party was shut down because the police came and I think the estate security or something, because Paul hadn't asked for permission to have the party. So the music, people are complaining about it. So they shut the electricity. So people are leaving. And Ryan and Brian, who are arguing about a woman who was at the party, and the lady was just like, yo, I'm not even interested in you. I was just talking. So Brian and Ryan were arguing because apparently Brian had tried to take Ryan's old girlfriend at some point or something like that. This entire thing was just, ugh. But anyway, so they argue, and then while they're arguing, Gigi, tries to make them make sense of the whole situation, and they are good. As soon as they are good, Lesedi has come to talk to Paul to apologize for what she did. And she hasn't come back with the things that she stole. She's just come left and right. And she's, babe, can we talk, please? And he's like, no. She was very surprised to find him with his friends, because I think she wanted to just find him and try and manipulate him or something. So the other boys are like, you cannot. Even Ntabi was there and she was like, where are the things? Where are his things? Why didn't you bring them back? And she goes like, babe, can you please talk just the two of us? Bran did not want that. But then Paul was like, let me deal with this. So they go to another room and they talk. And this woman tries to gaslight Paul into taking her back. And she doesn't even explain why she took the things, where she took them. She just apologizing, saying that she wants him back. And I was like, for what purpose? Why? Why did you even steal from him? That is one thing that was never explained in the movie. Why did she do it in the first place? Was she just a wicked woman? Because I think at the beginning I had them talking about slay queens because I think Lesedi's friends were slay queens. And maybe that is the reason why they just used men and stole from them or something like that. But it wasn't like he explained like why she did what she did. Even when she came back, I thought she was going to be like, I'm sorry, I was forced into doing it. I'm sorry, I had, a debt that I had to pay, so I had to sell all of your things. She did say anything like that. She just kept saying, like, I'm sorry for what I did. Please, can we get back together or something like that? Are you crazy? Are you serious? Because I wouldn't even know how to begin that conversation if I were in her place. But anyway, so he kicks her out eventually, and Brian was actually coming to, make her go. But by the time he was about to, Paul had actually kicked her out. Actually called Zozo to come and take her out. And Zozo enjoyed it because she was like, you risk my job, so get out. And I was very happy about what Paul did. I was upset with Ntabi. I was happy about Paul. Because if Paul would have also forgiven Lesedi, I think I would have actually thrown something at my TV, because what is this? He comes back to his friends and he goes like, yeah, I've gotten rid of her, and they're so happy. And they're also happy for Ntabi and Kagiso. And they go back to, I think, Johannesburg. That's where they had come from or something. And on their way, they stop somewhere and they are all peeing. They're on a line peeing on the grass. And this police, I think there were two police officers, a female and a male, black. They approach them. She calls them a demeaning name. And so Gigi, because he's a lawyer, he speaks for them and he's like, yeah, you are calling them because of the color of their skin or something like that, because he was white and everybody else was black. But anyway, she tries to defend herself, blah, blah, blah. They get back into the van and they drive all the way back to Johannesburg. So they drive back, and then later on, we are shown that Brian's life changed for the better. I think he got a job, he had a home of his own, and the other guys have come to celebrate with him at his house. So I think that's where the movie ends. I'm not so sure. Go and watch it and tell me how it ended in the comment section down below. So this movie, Brian, as I said, was just disgusting. Very, very disgusting. From the first scene that we are shown, the way he was treating women, the way he was talking to women, like he wasn't rude to them, but he was disgusting towards them. And the things that he would say, himself. There's this part where he goes to Ryan's home. Ryan is a very neat person. He had just woken up. He was making breakfast for himself. I don't know, he eats these healthy things. So I don't know if it was oatmeal or if it was just normal cereal and with something. I don't know what he was mixing it with. I thought it was milk, but he comes, that is Brian, and he just takes it and starts eating it. And the moment he puts it in his mouth, he starts saying that it's disgusting. And then he starts making that vomiting voice. Like he kept doing that. And he kept doing that over and over again. He was very, very disgusting. He spat that food out. And I think he took another mouthful and he spat it out again. And then I don't know, he went to Gigi's home and he also did something disgusting. Like every time he was on camera, he was doing something stupid and something disgusting. And I understand that he was supposed to be the comedy in the show because you're supposed to be providing the comedic, scenes. Everything that he was doing was supposed to be comedy golds. But honestly, I hated each and every time he was on that show. The only time I appreciated Brian was when he was warning Lesedi, and at the end, when he was having the fight with Ryan, because he was like, you guys, you think that I enjoy being jobless and stuff, but I don't, because it's very hard. My life hasn't been the easiest. You guys tell me that everything is going to be okay, but it's not okay. Like, I love that little speech that he made, because that was the only time he was really serious and he was talking about his situation in a very mature way. And actually his friends were like, okay, we understand now. Because everything else he was doing was just disgusting. You are couch surfing in each and every one of your friends' homes, but every time you go there, he was pretending like he was entitled to everything that he was getting from them. And he was such a loud mouth, and it was just disgusting. I hated that character so badly. So, so badly. And I do not understand who wrote that and thought that, oh, he's going to be funny. So I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I was in a bad mood. But there's nothing that Brian did in that entire movie that made me laugh. He was just disgusting. And he's a chubby guy. And even the way he was dressing, like, okay, fine, be proud of your big tummy and everything. I will not judge that. But it's just the things that you're doing alongside being that chubby that make people think that chubby people are disgusting, because he was disgusting in all ways. So no, I just hated that Brian character. And Lesedi was a witch, because how do you do all that? Like, she stole from Paul, took everything that he owned and ran away with it. And then she comes back. Like, nothing happened. Can't we just be together again? Like we are, lovers and stuff. I was like, are you crazy, woman? Because who does that? You should really be hiding somewhere. And as for Paul, why didn't he call the cops on her? Because at the beginning he did. He asked for police officers to come. And I think once Zozo told him that it was Lesedi who had taken the things, when the police came, he was like, no, it's nothing. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Let her be arrested. She stole from you. Because when he did that, I thought, okay, maybe they had bought them together or maybe she owned most of the stuff. But no, he just felt pity for her because he loved her. That's a thief. Let her be arrested. Because, as I said, they'd never addressed why she did it. If she was being pressured, if she was in debt and she wanted to get out of it, I could have maybe wrapped my head around that. But this no explanation, I don't know. That was a loose end that I just didn't understand why they did that. When she came back, I was like, okay, maybe now she's going to explain why she did what she did, but she didn't. So yeah, she was just a witch. Kagiso and Tabi. I hated Kagiso, I've already said that. He was a very terrible human being for everything that he did. I understand that there's a point they try to explain that it's because I think the mom left when he was a kid. And so he believes that love is not real or something like that, that you just can't trust women or something. And you know what Lesedi did also made things worse for him. And so he goes, you leave alone that thing with the body wash, the shower gel. He calls Ntabi again to the house and they make love. And then he goes like, yeah, I'm going with my friends to Cape Town, not you. And they have another fight and they sort of break up. And once they get to Cape Town, he has not even, mourned the loss of that relationship. He's already going with another woman, kissing another woman, wanting to make love to another woman. And then he puts his trauma from this other relationship that has not even really ended on this other woman by calling her a nickname that he uses for his other woman, so that we can say that, oh my God, he's still so in love with her. Look at him. He's calling the other girl's, nickname. Oh my God, why can't he just stick? I hated him because of that. Because there's no excuse. You're a grown-ass man. You know that even though your mom left, this other woman has not left. She has proved it to you over and over again because you've been together for years. And every time you break up, you come back together. So how is it that all of your friends think that she's the love of your life, but you do not? Until you almost sleep with another woman, that's when you realize that, oh my God, I've been losing out on this other woman. I've been making her life miserable. So let me just give her a weak ass apology and everything's going to be forgiven. And Ntabi, let me not even get to her because she makes women look weak and just terrible. I was like, sure she was going to be like, no, like Paul did. But apparently that was the love story between Kagiso and Ntabi. That is the love story in this show. Apart from the friendship, of course, with the 6 guys, Ntabi and Kagiso's was the main thing. So if it was a rom-com, theirs would have been the perfect story. And I do not understand where that would have been okay. He does not want any of your products in his home. He uses you like you are nothing. He goes and sleeps with another woman or tries to almost sleeps with another woman. And then when you come to try and help him because his friends have told you that he's in trouble, he makes you feel like you did the worst mistake on earth. Asks you, actually, what are you doing here? I don't want you here. I don't need you here. Go. He chases you away. And then he runs after you, asks for an apology. And then you're just like, okay, I love you, baby. I hated Kagiso. Ntabi annoyed me. And she just made me feel like, no, this is nonsense now. Because that is a stupid thing that man did. You've been giving him chances. There should be an end to what he does. So yeah, I wouldn't have forgiven him. So Ntabi annoyed me, I hated Kagiso, and Brian was super disgusting. The other guys were okay, and I loved Paul. I loved his bravery. I loved that he mourned what he had lost, but I was like, why didn't you just report her? Because that would have been super, super easy. Maybe it's because I've never been in love. Maybe that's why for me it was like, yeah, it's just that, yeah, she has stolen from you, so report her. Let her be arrested. Because what are you doing? But yeah, that was it for me. Like the movie, I didn't like it so much. It wasn't funny. It had a plot, but there were potholes. The guys' acting was good. They had good chemistry amongst them. Their friendship was good. Gigi and Lufuno, their relationship just looked odd because Lufuno looks way, way older than Gigi is. It just felt wrong. But I don't know. As I said at the beginning, maybe I'm losing touch with myself. I don't know. Maybe I'm just no longer enjoying movies because I found Talia to be terrible. And I also found Six in the City to be terrible. I don't know. I gave Talia 3 out of 10. This one I'm giving it 4 out of 10. Because the actors tried to act. They really did. But other than that, the script was weak, if I'm being honest. Everything they were doing on the road, it was like a movie I've seen before. A Western movie I've seen before. So it was like copy and paste or something. There was no effort put in it, honestly. I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh again, like Talia, but I did not enjoy this movie, like at all. It's a comedy, but I did not find it funny. And I understand that comedy is subjective, so maybe somebody else will watch it and enjoy it. But as for me, I did not love it, and I hated that guy who was supposed to make it funny. That is Brian. I hated his character so much. So there's that. I'm going to leave it at that because I no longer want to continue talking about it. As I said, not good. Not good, like at all, for me at least. But I'll tell you to go to Netflix, go and watch it and decide for yourself. Then come back to the comment section down below. Tell me if you agree with me or if you do not. When I put it up on Instagram, go comment there as well. Tell me if you agree with me or if you do not. Remember that I'm still baking, so if you want to make your orders, please DM me and I'll be able to get the orders and I'll make whatever you want for you. Remember to please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first people to come and watch. Okay, bye bye now. Love you.